Hi guys, welcome to Tarot in the Dark. Tonight we are going to take a look at the family secret that you're finally ready to understand. I know for most of us, we feel like there's something in our family history that we never seem to be able to make sense of. If this is you, you may think that there's a pattern, a silence, or a wound that seems like it's way bigger than just your own personal experience. And in today's reading, we want to explore this family secret. We want to explore this secret that you're finally ready to understand. And we're going to ask your ancestors what they want to tell you about it. Now, the intention of this reading is that you uncover these past familial patterns, history, secrets, so that you have a greater understanding of who you are today, which then enlightens you and it affords you the opportunity to be able to shift and transform that energy moving forward. Okay, so here we're all about reviewing the past, which allows us to honor our current, our present energy so that we can then transform our futures. And I believe that ancestral healing is a huge, huge part of that. So if you are interested in digging into these secrets, please stick with us. As you can see, I have 3 different tarot decks here. We are going to go ahead and draw the cards. I do want to just preface with something that Spirit kind of gave me a heads up about before starting the reading. Whenever you dig into hidden knowledge, hidden information, secrets, things like that, especially dealing with ancestral karma, wounds, healings, traumas, things like that, it is very, 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 as my mic wasn't on, but it is very important for you to protect yourself, to establish a boundary, to guard yourself. In particular, what they're speaking to is the fact that we can take these things on as if they are our identities. Now, although you may identify with these identities, right? You may identify with these secrets because it's a part of your familial history. It is not you. And if it is you, you have something that your ancestors may not have been aware of, which was and is the power to transmute and transform and alchemize this energy into something that is extremely powerful for you and your lineage that follows. Okay, so you can shift everything that is happening and everything that is being said today and not make it who you become. Okay, this is all about awareness, again, with the idea and the awareness of the fact that now that I know this information, I have the power to shift it. If you're here, if you're prepared to dig in, let's go ahead and begin to shuffle. Guys, I'm excited about this reading. This feels like some tea to me, but it also is totally in alignment with where I want us to go as a collective and as a channel. You know, I want us to be able to go back, look at the past through the lens of empowerment and not through defeat, doubt, fears. You know, it's about seeing things for what they were, and again understanding that you're the one to shift this. So this is very empowering for me personally when I've done this. So let's dig in and see what comes out for you all. I'm excited. For pile number 1, what family secret are they finally ready to understand? Wow, the 6 of Cups, guys. That's so awesome. So for pile number 1, your card is the 6 of Cups. Wow. Oh, the devil's underneath that. I can't help but to show you. Okay. Wow, 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 wow. For pile number 2. See, sometimes I get these topics and I'm like, is that even going to be like a thing? Like, how is that going to turn out? And then, you know, our teams just show up and then they just wow me. I can already tell this is going to be heavy, but powerful, guys. Powerful, powerful. So for pile number 2, for pile number 2, what family secret are they finally ready to understand? Okay, so we have the this is the Knight of Cups, okay? For pile number 2, we have the Knight of Cups, okay? And then we have the Three of Swords underneath the deck. Oh my gosh, guys, the cards underneath the deck give us more insight, and I'm amazed that they're coming out as they are. Wow, like powerful. The Devil, the Three of Swords. Man, okay. Devil showing up here for pile number 3. Let's see. And the decks that they had me pull. You guys know I'm just rambling because I'm just excited. For pile number 3, what family secret are they finally ready to understand? For pile number 3. Ooh, look at the Six of Pentacles. Oh my goodness. The Six of Pentacles. Wow, I'm already getting messages. And then the bottom of the deck is the Ten of Pentacles. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Guys, if you heard what I heard, whoa. Okay, guys, if you've been here before, I'm going to zoom in, adjust the lighting. If you have headphones in, I highly recommend that you turn the volume down because I'm going to tune my sound bowl so it will make some noises. It's kind of loud with headphones in. And then I will meet you on the other side in your specific pile, okay? Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something that they just told me. Give me a second. So they told me to grab my little treasure box here. Some people like to have stickers or something, trinkets on the piles. So let's go ahead and pick for pile number 1. Remember, you owe yourself the love you give so easily to others. All right, so let's put that there. And then for pile number 2, I am loved. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, pile number 3. Guys, I can't see these little things in here, so I'm doing the very best that I can for pile number 3. Wow. Oh my gosh. And then for pile number 3, I'm sorry, I have to take this because it was sticking out. Capricorn with the Devil energy. Okay. Wow. Wow, guys, you're God. I'm just blown away. So anyways, let me put these little stickers, trinkets here. Now, the interesting thing is that I'm confident that the Devil is going to appear in all 3 piles. I mean, these are secrets, right? So these are things that we don't want to necessarily share, that we don't want others to be aware of. They're hidden things that even you are like, I know that there's more to this story than what they're alluding to, right? Like maybe your grandfather, grandmother told you bits and pieces of the stories, but they never told you the full story. That's what we're going to dig into today, okay? We're going to help you to understand it, and hopefully you'll be able to receive some advice and information on how to transmute the energy. So the lighting, again, you see me adjusting it, just makes it a little easier to sometimes see the cards when it's darker, at least I think. But let's see. Let me see if I can correct this. Okay, that works too. You can see it that way. I'm going to go ahead and tune the sound bowl so that you can select your pile, and I'll see you on the other side. Hi, pile number 1. If you chose the Six of Cups or the Remember You Owe Yourself the Love You So Easily Give to Others, this is your reading in regards to the family secret that you're finally ready to understand. So immediately, I want to just call out what Spirit told me in regards to this pile. This pile has something to do with deception. It's interesting because the deception is being shown as a lie, and like a deception and a lie that has been told to your ancestors. Like they believe the lies, okay? One of your family secrets is that there was a lie and a wound that impacted individuals' abilities to be able to actually see things clearly, okay? It's like a string of deceptive events that occurred that led to some type of missed opportunities, failed experiences, and unhealthy attachments is how this is showing up. Now, the interesting thing is that this doesn't feel like your family lineage is necessarily like shady, scandalous, manipulative people. What it feels like is the energy of people who have been taken for granted because they weren't able to stand up for themselves, and they weren't strong enough, didn't feel empowered enough, weren't, you know, bold enough, courageous enough to say, we're not going to endure this. Like, you know, it's basically like the people that get walked on. That this feels like the family secret with your lineage, is that people in your family don't stand up to defend and fight. They're probably more of more passive individuals, people who will just let people do whatever and just kind of like brush it off as like, oh, they're just being humans. The reason why this is deceptive is because it's prevented your family from being able to experience life as you deserve. And this could actually be impacting you in this day and time. Like, it feels like this energy has at some point in time in your life affected your ability to be able to experience life to the fullest as well. There's something about your hearts, like you guys are just very loving, kind, tender people, but you bypass things. You bypass truths. You bypass the need to hold people accountable. There's a lot of like brushing over, sweeping things under the rug. You may have been taught or raised in a household where they said what goes on in this house stays in this house, right? Not allowing you to actually grow or experience a different version of life, because it's almost like there's some type of secret here in regards to this is gonna be probably a little offensive to some, but there's some type of secret here in regards to like rulership. Like somebody in your family had like dominion or power over everybody else, something like that. Like it could have been like a grandmother figure, but someone was very like domineering and basically like shut everybody else down, and convinced your family ancestors that they weren't worthy or deserving. And that's the deception, is that they believed it. It's I'm hearing abuela. What is that? Abuela, abuelita, something like that. I think that's like grandmother in Spanish, right? I don't know what abuela is. Is that an auntie? I'm not sure, but you'll know. So whoever this is in your family, they have a very, I don't think they're here anymore. I think they've passed on. I think they've transitioned. But their energy was the energy of someone that controlled like everyone else in the family. And I don't think that people looked at them as that way, but they were basically the starting point. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. They're like the top, and then it goes down. You know, when you work for an organization, the culture of the organization is established by the leader. The leader of the organization establishes how everything else flows, how people feel. They establish the culture. And that's what this individual in your family did. It's like a matriarchal energy. However, that individual had a lot of hidden secrets within them. Like, it's like they had their own struggles. And I'm picking up on like schmexual energy. You know, like someone, maybe a grandmother had like a bunch of kids by different men. Like, I'm just giving like this example because I don't know exactly what it is for you, but I think you'll know. But basically they were almost like this grandmother, auntie-ish type figure, whoever they were. This feminine energy had this power to be able to get everyone to believe what she said. And it's almost like this authority was just given to her just based on her position in the family. But that led the rest of your family into this deception, because it was almost like they were taught or raised to believe that this was their way of living life. Something about giving away yourself, your bodies. Like, they're showing me like a body, like giving away your body. So that could be schmexual energy, but giving away yourself, your heart, like giving yourself up to others because you have been deceived into believing that that's the way that you are to operate. Like that's your position, that's your role in life. There's something about the Six of Cups here is showing like the sensitivity of your heart. You know, the Six of Cups is the energy of sweetness, it's tenderness, it's kindness, it's the love and the ability to be able to see the humanity in others. It's like that was robbed to where you know, you guys were deceived. And I'm saying you guys, I don't think this is affecting you right now. I feel like this is something that you've had to address, though. I feel very much that energy, but I don't think this is affecting you right now. But it feels like there was maybe a more of an aggressive, domineering feminine energy that kind of ran rampant in your family, in your ancestral lineage, that created this deceptive energy that women are supposed to operate in a certain way, or maybe even that the women are domineering and that the women operate more in a masculine energy than in a feminine energy. And what that does is it demasculates the masculine energies in your family, and it, you know, feminizes, I'm making this word up, guys, but basically it takes away those feminine qualities from the feminines within your family, to where I'm seeing like the scales of justice being shown. So it's almost like there's this challenge within your lineage to balance out your masculine and feminine energy, because the feminines in your family have operated from such a masculine perspective, right? That I'm going to take and own everything. So thank you, Spirit and ancestors, because I feel like we're getting somewhere now, because this makes perfect sense now. Initially, I'm like, what the heck? Which I meant to say that at the beginning. You kind of have to just stick through these readings to figure out how to get to the solution. If you ever watch a tarot reading, you know, a story can often start off and you're like, we don't know what you're talking about. And then by the end, you're like, oh my God, this makes perfect sense, right? Because Spirit and the ancestors have to just build on it. But basically, that's what I'm picking up on, is that your family secret is that this very domineering feminine energy within your family has created this deceptive energy that's kind of like, it's like a cancer that's kind of ran through and metastasized throughout your family, causing the feminines to lose their femininity and operate more from a masculine perspective. And this secret is a challenge, and it has caused harm because there's no balance in masculine feminine energies. You may also come from a family where there aren't very many individuals that are married, and this can happen sometimes when this imbalance is aggressive. And these things, again, like I said in the intro, if you didn't watch it, you may want to go back and watch it, but I'm going to say it here to you again, pile number one, is that these energies are presented to us so that we have an understanding of where we came from, which empowers us now so that we can transform those energies moving forward. None of this is here to defeat you, to keep you in this deceptive energy, right? The deception is the fact that the feminines have been operating as masculines, and the masculines probably have had to succumb to that by operating more in a feminine energy, because they can't be the masculines because the women won't allow them to. Wow. I was not expecting that. And this, remember, you owe yourself the love that you so easily give to others, is because you and maybe some of your other ancestors may have succumbed to trying to avoid this energy by, and I'm going to leave the devil card here, by maybe overgiving, right? Overgiving, trying to show up and seek validation where you have maybe felt invalidated in situations. Okay. I'm also seeing that this could have shown up through like religious practices. Like maybe you had a grandmother who was a pastor or a nun or something like that, and maybe they were deceitful in, making people think that they were really, a good individual that had good intentions and they were doing the work of the Lord. Like maybe something like that took place, but it really was deceptive because they were attached to unhealthy patterns and behaviors. And what I like to always acknowledge this with our ancestors. Our ancestors didn't have the resources and the tools that we have accessible and available to us today, right? And so they could only do what they could do. And I think sometimes we can look back and think like, well, why did I get put in this family? Why did I get this life? And it's you receive this because it's a gift that's being offered to you for you to transmute it. And so I think it's always a good idea to me to look at the ancestors and the secrets, the lies, the deception, all of those things through the lens of grace and love and appreciation for the fact that they may not have been able to overcome it, but that they're with you and supporting you today on the other side where their perspective has shifted, right? Like I've even heard my ancestors tell me like, I couldn't do this, so you can. Like I didn't have that in me, but you do, so go for it. So allow them to encourage you without looking at them through the lens of the errors that they may have made, because they didn't know at the moment and in the time that this was going to lead to what it has led to, right? The pain and the agonizing, the suffering that you and your family have had to endure due to these deceptions. It's one of those things where they know not what they do. And I'm seeing this ancestor, this grandmother, auntie, operating in that energy. Like I didn't know. I thought I was living a good life. I thought I was a good person. I tried to do the right thing, but there's something about where they came from. They weren't taught that either. So they couldn't give you what they didn't have. So the card out here for you is energetic realm, and this is life between lives. This is very interesting. What's interesting about this that they're showing me is something about not being able to settle in. So in your family, this secret, this deceptive energy of I'm not gonna lie, this honestly, if I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys, this feels to me like the energy of like prostitution. I keep seeing this prostitute card. Okay, now prostitution can show up in many ways. We often think of it as like, oh, the first thing we think of is the people that walk down the street, but that's not necessarily what prostitution is. I think every single one of us are guilty of prostitution. We give ourselves away with the expectation that we're going to get something back in return. And so it almost feels like the energy in the family lineage, the secret is that the deceptive energy of giving something with the expectation of receiving it back has kind of been like an overlaying energy that has affected your bloodline, to where you may notice that things are done, people in your family, like let's just look at other people, okay? People in your family, and if it's you, you can take it as it resonates. If it's not, just think about other people. But there's something about people in your family maybe doing something with the expectation that they're going to get something in return. However, there's always this unsettled energy. When you have motives, and I think that's what this feminine energy that kind of initiated a lot of this for your specific lineage. I think that's what they were raised to do, was to kind of bypass their role in, gaining things and being able to offer their heart, and instead they offered what they had to offer, what they felt was of value. And so what that does is that leaves your energy feeling unsettled. So what they're showing here is that they're showing that the deceptive energy can leave you constantly trying to shift between energies and never really being able to settle in or stabilize to establish peace in your life. And I think that a lot of this reading has to do with the fact that in your family lineage, the deceptions that that family members have operated in have led to the lack of peace in your lineage. I mean, God, this is powerful. And I want to just bring up the fact that every single one of us have these secrets in our family, right? Like, you just never know. You can't be held accountable for where you came from, the family that you chose. And like, it's really just a matter of just appreciating those challenges, because you recognize that everyone has their own set of challenges. And I think this is powerful because it's giving you insight into where you may be deceiving yourself. See, this feels like the energy of someone who may tell a little white lie, get away with it, and then it leads into something bigger. But it's not that the person is trying to be like malicious or conniving or anything like that. It's more so like we're just trying to find a way to survive, or just trying to find a way to value ourselves, to be validated. And instead it's turned into this larger challenge to where there's a constant like they're showing me in this energetic realm card too, like this constant energetic exchange of deceptive energy that is not, like, that people are just not aware of, right? Like that people are just not aware of. Guys, that card just flew out. It's that, because that's the thing about this. Like, I feel like this family secret is something that people have operated in. I think that that this head feminine energy in your family that they keep showing me, I think she absolutely was very much aware of what she was doing and the fact that it was wrong. However, this is how I feel. Okay, so imagine there's a gang in Los Angeles, California, okay, United States. There's a gang. Gangs are prominent in Los Angeles. So imagine there's like a gang member. This child is born into this family of gang members. This child grows up. This child becomes a gang member. This child goes to prison. They're a gang member. This child has no idea that this lifestyle is deceptive and that it also is dangerous and, like, not okay, right? Like that you're not going to be able to live a life that's going to be full of, freedom being a gang member. You're going to constantly be subjected to potential death, people who are, against you, like, your ops, whatever. So imagine growing up in that environment and you just don't know that this is not right, because nobody around you has ever stopped to say, wait, this is not right for us to be operating like this. We need to do something different. That's how this feels to me. It feels like there was a person at the top in your family. They kind of created this lifestyle. Everybody else kind of just falls in alignment with it. And then nobody really recognizes until you that it's like, shoot, we are actually a crap show. Like, we need to fix this, right? And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that whoever, whether it be you or a parent or something like that, somebody recognized that you were missing out on peace, that you were missing out on foundational truths, like that the morals, the ethics, the values that are the Six of Cups, these things that create and establish sweetness in your life, that those things were missing. And so I think that, those things have come up for you or for this other family member so that this energy can shift, because it's kept your family in constant conflict. Like, I'm seeing people that just cannot rest. This life between lives card is like someone just wanting and hoping and trying to get out of this. However, the energy of whatever this is so large. Like, let's go back to the gang member story. Okay, so the gang member, he can't just get out of the prison. We said he was in prison. He can't just get out of the gang, because now he's attached to that. Everybody in prison is going to know that his family is these gang members. Like, there's no getting away from it, right? And it's like he could want to get out all his life, but he can't, because he's trapped in that. And that's how this feels to me, is like someone is wanting to get out because they're missing out of the sweetness in life. And it's you that's coming to this recognition that, okay, these things happen, and they happen so that I can alchemize the energy. Because what I love about this deck is that all of the cards, so the trickster card is the card that came out, there's a light and a shadow to it. So we can all choose to operate in the shadow, or we can choose to transmute the energy into the light. And not one of us is exempt from the power to be able to do this. And so you, if you haven't already come out of these family secrets and moved away from this energy that keeps you up at night or keeps other family members up at night, if they haven't come out of it, you can initiate it by coming out yourself, right? And when you step out into the freedom to access a more sweet, peaceful life, when you remember to love yourself more than you love everyone else, then I think you're going to recognize that your energy will no longer be shifting between these two identities, because that's how this feels too, is like there's an identity here and then there's an identity here. It's like a war between whether or not you want to do the right thing or your family members, okay? So whether or not they want to do the right thing or whether or not they want to choose to operate from this place of deception in order to try to gain some type of authority or value from being recognized. But the reality of it is recognize it's validation that is invalid because it's done through deception and not through honesty, transparency, and again the ethics and morals that go along with that Six of Cups energy. So the trickster energy, this shadow attribute, is manipulating others through duplicity. So this is about like duplicating things. It's about even shifting things, like, oh, bypassing, they're bringing up again, you know, like they mentioned earlier, like bypassing something that you know is a potential risk for someone else. You know, the light attributes are transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Wow. So there's something here about the deceptive energy being energy of a trickster. It's some type of manipulation. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's some type of manipulation. It could be with words too, with the energetic realm here, but it feels like manipulation or deception that has taken place. It's like people are taking these lies with them to the grave, okay? Something like that is coming through too. But it's interesting because all of this is showing up with this. The saboteur energy is saying, look, the shadow attributes induces self-destructive behavior or desire to undermine others. And again, like this is all because there's deception because of someone seeking validation. So someone, and again, I'm going back to what they keep telling me, someone may have been looked at as being like this matriarch or amazing, awesome individual in the family, but they could have done that or gained that recognition through being deceptive. And maybe that's the secret that no one wants to say, is that that person really is and was, and I don't think they're here, they were deceptive. They were a trickster. And that trickster energy has been affecting your family lineage, your ancestral line. Because, you know, one thing that happens is, okay, you have these two cards. Let me just put them out. But one thing that happens is that we don't understand this, but we take on the energies of our ancestors. And if your ancestors have done deceptive things and there's no recognition of that deception, then and you just kind of cover it up or brush it over, then that can return back to you because it's still in your bloodline. All you have to do is recognize it. Interesting that the garbage truck is here too, because it's almost like, especially with like this crossroads card here, like you're being asked to make a decision as to whether or not you will see things for what they are. Okay. Are you willing to recognize the errors of your ancestors? Are you willing to accept this family secret that you had no part in, right? I mean, unless you've operated from this space, you haven't had any part in this, so it can't be your fault. However, it is yours to what's the best word? Like correct, to face, to shift. Okay, those are like better options. It's almost like when somebody does something against you, they cause you harm, they cause you pain. You're like, well, why do I have to now heal this? Because now you've come to the understanding that this secret has not only affected you but others in your family. And so with this knowledge, now you've almost taken it on as like, now I have to shift this so that I don't operate from this space, so that I can cleanse the rest of my family lineage, if that makes any sense. And it's not like you're taking this on and becoming this. No, this is not a part of you. It's a version of where you came from, right? It's a portion. It's almost like a part of the thumbprint of your ancestors. And so this mirror card is inviting you to face yourself and others. Wow, that's so powerful, because this is exactly what we were just talking about, right? Reflective relationships, self-awareness, and what you see is you. So being able to see how can I say this? Being able to see the deceptive energy that has been operating through your ancestors, and then also finding yourself in that. And that's what I was speaking to, trying to get the words out to speak to a moment ago, in regards to, it may not be you, but it's a version of you. And so how in your life do you operate out of a deceptive energy? Where do you find yourself maybe, not necessarily trying to be conniving, manipulative, or deceptive, not trying to be a trickster, but operating from that space? Oftentimes we can say, oh, I didn't mean to do that. But if you did it, then you meant to do it, right? As long as you had to plan it out and act out on it, you meant to. Like someone who says, oh, I didn't mean to cheat. Well, how did you get over to her house or his house? And how did you, pull your chonies down? Like, how did you get there? And so it's the same thing I think you're being challenged with today. And these can be very hard pills to swallow, is the fact that I may be this way because my family was this way. And a part of accepting that is saying that, you know what, I can be whole and complete even with flaws. Okay, like I can be amazing and great and fantastic even with my ability to make mistakes. I think the shadow and light attributes are coming through heavily for you, due to the fact that there's an ask that you recognize that in all things there is light and dark. It's the justice balance that we were seeing and speaking to earlier. Those things have to be present. The balancing of the masculine energy, the feminine energy, being able to fall in a place of, peace with the Six of Cups and have sweetness, being able to check and test your morals, your values, the things that you were taught growing up, how you were raised, whether or not your parents taught you to be manipulative, whether or not your parents taught you to be deceitful, whether or not they taught you how to be a trickster, whether or not they taught you how to use your energy for personal gain or to benefit others and serve humanity, right? Like all of these things are a part of, in my opinion, every single one of us should be evaluating and assessing these things in our lives. And the only way forward is to go backwards when it comes to healing. You must go back so that you know where you came from, because that's going to give you the pathway to moving forward and to know where you're going. You can't possibly have direction if you don't know all parts of you. And that requires looking at the parts of you that you don't like, the parts of your family lineage that you don't like, these secrets that you don't like, that you didn't ask for and that you don't want. The power comes in when you can take these things and say, wow, let me look at these things through the lens of love, massage them, nurture them, and rewrite this story with that Six of Cups. You, pile number one, have the power to rewrite this deceptive energy, to turn the energy of the devil into the energy of the strength and the Star card, where there's empowerment, there's healing, there's courage. You have the ability to do so. It's just a matter of making a decision to love yourself more than you love others. And a part of this can feel like you're deceiving your family by even doing this. By even listening to this reading, you may be like, oh my God, my grandmother would kill me. But a part of that is also saying, Grandma, you couldn't do this. I'm going to. Because whoever this woman is, this feminine energy is, she wishes that she had the power and the strength and the ability to do what you're doing right now. And she's cheering you on, and she says she's voting for you. I don't know what that means, but she says she's voting for you. She's voting on you. Wow. And this friend zone card here, okay, this is interesting. Let's talk about it for a second. Platonic trap, unreciprocated feelings, okay? Now, this unreciprocated feelings, I'll read the rest. Stuck as friends, like a sibling to me. So this friend zone energy here is showing up to me. Really, they're highlighting this unreciprocated feelings. And this is where I think the trickster energy shows up for most of the individuals in your family. It's almost like there's a hard time, you guys, or in your family lineage, the secret around using, manipulating, and tricking people for personal gain of the individual may have something to do with not being able to healthily connect or attach to people. That they're going back to what they showed earlier in regards to maybe a lot of the individuals in your family are single, or the feminine energies may, use males for business deals. Like I remember someone telling me that one time. It was a business deal when they married somebody, and I'm like, oh shucks, and so they're bringing that to my attention. So you may notice that, and if it's affecting you, you may have a hard time connecting with people because you have a hard time seeing the challenges within yourself or seeing your shadow attributes. And that is due to the deception that took place in your family lineage, which is it feels very, very, very shameful, if I can be honest with you. I feel like you carry shame from this secret, this family secret. And I'm confident that your ancestors want to release you from that. You see this 10 of Swords at the bottom of the deck? Like, I think you operate in this space, which is what this goes in alignment with this life between lives that they were showing me, where there's no peace. There's a constant disruption in your energy because you're not free from this deceptive energy. And I love this, the cards that came out for you. You have the Queen of Cups. You have the Knight of Pentacles. It came out in the reverse, but I don't read reversals. And then you have the Sun here. And what this is showing is that there's something about you that has a hard time accepting that happiness is yours to have. That's the first part. But also there's challenge you have with putting yourself, like, the Queen of Cups can be deceptive for sure. I'm a Pisces, trust me, I know. The Queen of Cups can be deceptive, but it's emotionally deceptive. So basically, she can be, and this is a Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy, the Queen of Cups, but the Queen of Cups can find herself deceiving herself whenever her feelings are hurt, when she's wounded, when she feels like someone has offended her, when she has to look at these deceptive family secrets in the past. Oh my God, I can't believe my grandma did that. I can't believe my auntie did that. I just can't believe this. I just can't believe that I came from a family of, prostitutes. I'm just making this up, guys. But it can be that energy where the Queen of Cups says, oh my God, like, I just refuse to believe that, because we are law-abiding citizens, right? There's no way that I came from a lineage of gang members or people who were tricksters, and that's how we have the abundance that we have by means of deceit. So it's like the Queen of Cups can fall into the energy of woe is me, I can't believe this, it can't be true. And what she'll do is deny access to seeing the truth. The Sun is representing visibility. Okay, being able to accept something that is very hard to believe because it affects your feelings. It affects the way that you experience yourself, your family, and the world around you. This is like a complete eye-opener. Like maybe people in your family were combative. Maybe they fought or, were crabs going to the top and pushing other people down. Things like that. This is about embracing and accepting that this is where I came from, but this is not who I am, nor is it who I will allow my children to become, because I'm going to shift this. And we will rewrite history. I keep seeing that with that Six of Cups. We're going to rewrite history by illuminating the truth and then moving forward with knowledge of the truth with this Knight of Pentacles, allowing the truth to take us to stability. The Knight of Pentacles is not a deceptive energy at all. The Knight of Pentacles is the energy of someone who is able to see things through a very practical lens. He's not the Page of Pentacles, because you've already been given the information. The information is in this reading, these secrets, which I'm confident that you already know these things, but you probably didn't want to face them. You didn't want to accept them with the Sun here, because you just didn't want to believe that that person in your family who everyone idolized was only idolized because of their ability to deceive people into thinking and believing that they were who they aren't. Something along those lines, guys. But this now being illuminated to you is offering you the opportunity to be honest, to see things clearly, and to nurture yourself out of this old story and into the new story that is right around the corner. The Sun is showing also too that there's something in your childhood that kind of illuminated this to you. So it was kind of made aware to you as a child. You saw something along those lines. There was something in your childhood where you were like, that doesn't seem right. But you kind of turned a blind eye to it with the Queen of Cups here. And so now it's like, now you're being faced with this again. You clicked on this reading for a purpose. You're faced with this again. Are you going to operate from a space of truth, clarity, integrity? Because the Queen of Cups is a very, 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 very integral person, or person of integrity. I'm like, I don't think that sounded right, but a person of integrity. She's going to do the right thing for not only herself, but for others, because she recognizes that she's been placed here to love and tend to others who may be broken, who may not know how to do that themselves. But it's done in a very practical way, and it's also done in a way that is not going to deceive or steal her confidence, because the Sun is also about confidence. It's about being confident in who you are now, to where you no longer need to trick your way or deceive your way into gaining and receiving things in life. The Queen of Cups is also like a master manifester. She just brings in what she desires, and it's because she's doing the right thing. She's pouring into herself. And she's able to see that others are a reflection of her. The things that trigger us are triggering us because we are seeing a version of ourselves that we either like or we don't like. I also think that this is going to assist you in your partnerships and your connections with others, because there's something about being inauthentic in your relationships that is a part of this family secret that has kept you and others in your family from building healthy relationships. I think you've had a lot of, or people in your family have had a lot of unhealthy relationships where there's been conflict, chaos, deception. There's power dynamics, control challenges between partnerships and connections. And again, that goes back to that masculine-feminine imbalance that they were showing earlier. Guys, I know this is a ton of information. Just remember that you're at a crossroads in your life, okay? That this is an important choice for you, and this is a life-changing decision that you will or won't make. In all situations, there's shadow and light, but I'm confident that your ancestors are cheering you on to pour into yourself, to choose yourself, to be honest with yourself, to see yourself clearly, and to move slowly towards building and establishing a new story for you and your bloodline. So I hope this gave you some insight. I hope the secret was revealed. I think we gave a lot of secrets, but if you have any questions, concerns, feel free to drop it in the comment. I hope that this gives you peace and that you're able to take this in, push forward, transmute this dang energy, and get on to your best life. Pile number 1, I thank you so much for being here. Feel free to drop a comment, as I mentioned. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you next time. Thanks so much. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. If you chose the Knight of Cups or the I Am Loved card, this is the family secret that you're finally ready to understand. Okay, so right away, I'm picking up on someone being lied to in regards to like cheating and children. So maybe you have a grandfather or an uncle, a dad even, someone in your family may have had another family like on the side that so imagine your grandmother and grandfather had your parent and their family. You grew up with this family thinking that that was it, but there was actually another family like on the side, or there was a ton of, if not children, there was a ton of lies and deception in regards to like cheating, heartbreak, things like that. There's a masculine energy in your family that you may look at or have looked at in the past as one who's been very charming, but this person is actually like a manipulator and a deceiver when it comes to like matters of the heart. So they've caused a lot of harm to a feminine energy in your family, someone that you love. This could even be your father, but they've caused a lot of harm to your mother or your grandmother, your auntie, something like that. It's like a masculine figure in your family that's like a father figure to you or a grandfather. They've cheated, lied, and deceived a woman in your family that you really, really love. But this has just never been talked about. It's something that's been hidden. And it's a secret that needs to be discussed because it has led to a lot of the actions that you take when it comes to partnerships and relationships. Okay, they're showing me that for some of you, you may have some challenges with like codependency, maybe having a hard time with partnerships and connections that are deceitful, or where you're being lied to, manipulated, and it's almost like this has been, they're showing me like DNA, like it's in your DNA that you accept wrongs, that you accept people, like maybe like brushing over the fact that this is really affecting you. And it's because this is the same thing that happened to this other feminine energy in your family. Like they may have never left the person because they felt like they would be persecuted or judged or, you know, like wrongly accused of something themselves. And so they stayed with this person, although they endured a ton of heartbreak for the sake of not being frowned upon by community members, others in the family. Maybe they wanted to protect this masculine energy so that people in the family didn't look at them as being the person that they were. Something along those lines. There's also something coming through about like lying to themselves. So someone in the family has a secret. There's lies in regards to like how people really interact when it comes to romance. There's something there, guys. There's something more. I don't know exactly what. Hopefully we'll dig into it. For pile number 1, we had to dig a little while before we got to the root of the secret. So if you're here for pile number 2, I would suggest just waiting until the end to see. By the time we were halfway through the reading, we were like, okay, we got it. Which, you know, tarot readings, if you watch any of them, they're just like this. But there's something in regards to lies when it comes to matters of the heart. Okay, so wow, caretaker, putting others first. Yep, guys, this is exactly what we were just talking about. You know, like ensuring that other people didn't have to live a certain lifestyle, or that they weren't, looked down upon, or that, like it's almost like this feminine energy wanted to protect the rest of the family, and so they kept this relationship although the other party was wronging them. That's how this feels. Oh my God, look at the bottom of the deck here. Is prostitute. Okay? Wow. So this feels like the masculine energy in the family could have been, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. The masculine energy in your family could have even been like imprisoned, or like maybe arrested for cheating, picking up prostitutes, or something like that. This caretaker is speaking to this feminine energy within the family that was willing to do whatever she could to ensure that the family stayed together, and in putting others first. There's something about this affecting her health overall. At some point in time, she was kind of ran down by her inability to stop and care for herself and choose to care for others. It's almost like the family secret is the lie of others being more significant and important than you and your own happiness, and giving yourself away, accepting the fact that people cheat. They're telling me all men cheat. It's like maybe your family secret is that you guys are taught that all men cheat, you just accept it. Or that people, if people cheat and you leave them, then God's going to condemn you. Something along those lines. They keep showing me stuff like that. So you have the Runner here and the Crown. Okay? And so this is just showing up that this masculine energy, who is basically the owner of the secret, was a runner. Okay? Not a runner like running races, but that they would run away from their problems. So there's lies in regards to, if you can't fix something, you just get away from it. And it's because of their position that they carried. So someone in your family may have had a position of authority, or there's something about the nobility of your family. Maybe your family was known in the community, and if the feminine energy would have left or walked away from this masculine energy, it would have affected the way that your family was seen by the entire community. Maybe your grandfather or father or whoever is someone who is very well known. I'm picking up on a politician, or someone who is what are they called? A district, I don't know why district attorney is here, but it's what's it called? A district, someone who runs for the local community, district board or something like that. They're showing me. I don't know. Okay, anyways, you'll know what I'm talking about if it's for you. But the artist here, and just one thing to recognize, I brought this up in pile number 1. I want to mention it here as well. Every single one of us have light and dark in our family, and light and dark within us. Each and every one of us are capable of doing the craziest things that we could think of and the nicest things that we can think of, right? It's we all have that devil and that angel on our opposing shoulders, constantly inviting us to do and take advantage of opportunities that may be beneficial or not to us. And so one thing to keep in mind during this reading is that if these things are your truths for your family, they don't have to stay that way. You have the ability and the power, and the invitation is being offered with this reading for you to really take these secrets and rewrite the story. It's almost like allowing them to be exposed through your awareness, so that you can shift the energy into an authentic energy that transmutes it from you moving forward so that you, your children, and anyone that comes after you won't have to also endure these family secrets in the way that they have impacted your life. Okay, so remember that. And this artist card, I think, is perfect for this, because the artist is about being able to shift your life, shift your story, and rewrite it, right? When you draw a painting, no one else has to understand it but you. And so there's something here about your family secret being something that may not be for others to necessarily be able to understand, but it's for you to be able to understand so that you can paint a picture of where you came from and how that affects you now and in where you're going. So the light attributes of the artist card is expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the five senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. Wow. And then the shadow attributes are using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as the starving artist to elicit pity. Now, I don't know, someone in your family could be an artist, but really what I'm picking up on in this artist card is that this masculine energy in your family used their role in their job. So they could have been a doctor, okay, and just took advantage of, you know, anybody around them schmexually. And, you know, you have this grandmother, auntie, mother figure at home just tending to and taking care of everything else. Due to their position of authority, the masculine's position of authority, they were able to run away from actually seeing themselves and kind of addressing, because there's something about a lie of not wanting to see who you really are that is a part of this family secret. Someone had a hard time with accepting who they were, and so instead they use love and schmexual activities to escape seeing their true selves. You know, when you draw a picture as an artist, if you're a painter, the truth of that painting is going to come out. So say, for example, you're an artist and you're ticked off, you're just mad. That's going to come out in your drawings. And so what they're showing me, and in your paintings, what they're showing is that this masculine energy had this pain or something within them, and it was coming out in their actions. It would display itself in their actions, and their actions really affected this feminine energy. And it could be opposite. It could be the feminine did this to the masculine. I'm just using the masculine because the card is just showing up that way, okay? But it feels to me like this is a masculine energy. It feels like this masculine energy ran from their problems through their work and use their position of authority as a way to be able to operate in this space, which is this love bomb energy, where it's intense affection, too quick, excessive attention, and overwhelming charm with a hidden control. This is exactly what this masculine energy, I didn't even know that card said that. This is exactly what this masculine energy in your family did. They used this, and this is a secret because people in your family are ashamed, right? And it's the heartbreak. Look at this. The 3 of Swords is there at the bottom of the deck, and then this 10 of Pentacles, which is showing up in the reverse. This secret could have led to the downfall of your family. Maybe you had a masculine figure in your family who, you know, had a position of authority, and that position of authority went away. Again, that person could have even been imprisoned. Maybe they took it too far and began to purchase prostitutes and got caught up in that at some point, which then affected everything else in the family. They could have even spent all the money. Maybe someone said, oh, they had a gambling problem, but really their problem was gambling, purchasing, you know, individuals for schmexual purposes. It could have been something like that. There's something here where there's some masculine energy in your family that used their tools in the lower half of their body for personal gain, and it led to the downfall of your family, the dynasty. Wow. And it was because they were running away from themselves. It also led to a ton of heartbreak, a lot of pain and suffering for your family. Wow. You know, they're also showing me that this was at the hands of a woman. There was a particular feminine that got fed up with this masculine energy and outed them. Okay, so it's like the downfall of this masculine energy who had this position of power was due to some feminine energy, just sick of him. Yep. You guys, I cannot make this up. I cannot. So you see the Fool here? Oh my gosh, the Fool. Then we have, look, the Knight of Wands. Oh my gosh. And I'm so sorry because I can understand how this can be embarrassing, shameful, but also empowering. Then you have the Seven of Wands. Look, see, this is like this masculine energy was blindsided by this, because look at this Seven of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, right? It's almost like he was running away from himself at some point, attempting to get away from what he already caused. But the Seven of Pentacles represents seeds that you planted. So this masculine energy planted these seeds and was met with the deception that he initiated and brought on to himself. The challenge is that this has affected your entire family. Okay, this in particular, this feminine energy here, this feminine who was the caretaker, who ensured that everyone else was taken care of. It's almost like she had to step into this role of both the man and the woman, because she had to deal with this masculine and his downfall. I mean, this happens to so many great men, right? They take that position of authority. They operate as this fool, which I think this is the perfect depiction for, right? They operate in the space of the fool, where they think that they can just do whatever they want. Nothing's going to happen. I'm going to just, operate from this space. Let me just take my stuff and move it around everywhere and give it to everyone. And then they're met with this darker version, which would be this individual here in that prostitute card, who says, no, I'm not going to allow you to do this. I'm going to out you. And then from there, it's just heartbreak for the rest of the family. So what does this have to do with you? Okay? Because your storyline seems very clear to me. This makes perfect sense. This has to do with some type of, and this family secret is important for you to know and understand, because there's some type of judgment, or it's almost like people are constantly looking at your family in like a fishbowl. Okay, and this has affected your ability to be able to, I think, be free. If not you, others in your family. It's affected your ability to be able to be free in the way that you show up. Okay, there's also something about promiscuity coming through here, that maybe this is something that was kind of taken on by this masculine energy in your family. Like maybe you find yourself attaching to people. Maybe, oh, yeah. They're ding, ding, ding. Here's what they're saying. You may find yourself attracted to men who operate from this same space, or women who operate from this same space, the promiscuity. Maybe the individuals that you attract or that you have in the past have been individuals who come in and misuse you, just as this masculine energy in your family has misused this feminine energy. You may find yourself desiring to ensure that everyone else is taken care of because you were taught that. This may have also led to, and I think this was mentioned earlier, you being very codependent, people-pleasing, willing to sacrifice yourself for the sake of others. Yeah, I definitely think that there's something here about you being willing to do whatever is needed for the sake of being in power. Okay, so this is this position of authority that this masculine energy had. It's like you've taken on that identity. So you feel like you are the one who has the upper hand, but actually that's the lie. The lie is that this operating from this space will deceive you in the end, but instead it's looked at just as it was with the man. See, the man in your family, the masculine energy, felt like he could use his position of authority to have his cake and eat it too. And it's almost like you've taken on that identity in order to not fall into the place of the caretaker, to where you're the one putting others first. Instead, you think you're putting yourself first. But in the end, your ancestors are saying it's only going to come back and bite you in the butt. And I'm hearing the masculine say that very clearly. This will bite you in the butt just as it did with me. And this is your way of controlling the narrative so that you don't fall into this same category of the caregiver that you saw the feminine energy in your family, or energies in your family, operate from. So it's almost like a reversal of control for you, but the lie is that this will come back to haunt you just as it did with that masculine energy in your family. Wow. You know, the bottom of the deck here, they're showing me this card here is the guide. The light attributes represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. And then the bottom, the shadow attributes are places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. And so there's something in this for you. I think that this places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. I think that it's less about the financial gain, but it's more so about the control that has been affecting you and your bloodline as of late or recent. And I think that your ancestors are advising you to use your spiritual gifts, to trust your intuition and the guidance that spirit and your ancestors are giving you, to step out of this and into a new story, like rewriting, redrawing, or repainting. Getting a new canvas is basically what they're saying. Because essentially, you know, it's very interesting because I didn't get like this much like advice in pile number one, but they're giving you a ton of advice, and they're saying essentially this prostitute is who people in your family have become, and they've become this prostitute because they're doing something thinking that they're gaining something, but in return, so it's like they're doing something because they believe that they're going to gain something in return, when in return all it's doing is bringing harm to them, and they actually end up gaining nothing in return because it's a lie. Whoa. Woo. Lastly, pile number two, and I'm going to wrap your reading up because this is so straightforward. Your ancestors are inviting you to recognize how loved you are. It's interesting that this heart has band-aids on it, because it's almost like they're saying to recognize that the wounds, the secrets, the lies of your family, your ancestral lineage are not scars that you should be covering up. These are opportunities and gifts to empower you so that you can plant appropriate seeds with the Seven of Pentacles. They're asking you to uproot any of those seeds that have sprouted negative, energies, outcomes, negative experiences. Just pull the roots up. That's what this reading is doing. It's exposing the roots. So then that way you can trim off the old roots that are wilted, that are root rot, that are overly soiled and saturated. Pull those old roots off, clip them away, and then replant you, your identity, your confidence, your strength in soil that is appropriate for where you want to go. And I think this is absolutely beautiful. A part of that is just simply recognizing how loved you are and how much strength and power you have to shift this around, flip it on its head, and make it into something that you can actually be proud of, rather than operating from a space of shame. Wow. Pile number two, this is your reading. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. I know that my readings are very honest. They can sometimes be very hard to swallow, even for myself, even for me giving them. I'm like, oh my God, like, eh. But I have done these for myself, and trust me, they will help you. If you face these fears, these truths head on, I'm telling you, I have seen it with my own two eyes. Your life will transition in ways that you would never believe. And it's just a matter of embracing and accepting them and saying, I understand this is me. It's not mine. If you would like to do a chakra clearing course, I'm recommending this to you because that's where I got this from. This is me, but it's not mine. And there's a young lady, her name is Uthra, and she teaches a 7-day chakra clearing course. Her name on Instagram is Blooming Tao, BLOOMING TAO, and she will support and assist you even virtually through this 7-day chakra clearing course. And it was transformational for me. I mean, my life has not been the same since taking that course. That may be beneficial to you to be able to just reconnect with your body. There's nothing crazy. It's nothing like wacky, scary, freaky, none of that. It's all just you connecting back to yourself. And I really want to recommend that to you because I think that could be extremely beneficial to you. Uthra is amazing. She's compassionate. She's kind. She's sensitive. She's phenomenal. I highly recommend her to you. All right, pile number 2. Thanks for being here. Have a great, great, great night. And I'm looking forward to seeing you next time. Please feel free to drop a comment. Let me know if this resonated. I love hearing from you guys. I'm so thankful for each of you. I hope you have a great night. Don't forget to subscribe if I didn't say that. Have a good night, guys. Thanks for being here. Bye. Pile number 3. If you chose the 6 of Pentacles, Capricorn, the Devil energy, or the I'm doing the very best that I can card, this is your reading in regards to the family secret that you're finally ready to understand. So for you guys, your reading is going to be very different than the first 2 piles. I mean, they were all different, but there's something very specific coming through for you in regards to some type of deceitful energy around finances and money. I'm going to be honest with you and tell you, I had to tell the first 2 groups this, but I want to make sure that I give you this information in advance. This reading is intended to give you the information that has been missing, or give you the truth regarding this situation that has been overlooked or missing from like having clarity. So it's basically like you haven't had clarity in regards to why things have been the way that they have been for you and your lineage until understanding and recognizing this secret. So I heard very clearly that there's some thievery. Someone in your family was a thief or had some type of challenges around finances when it came to, like, I don't know, I was hearing all kinds of things like penny pinching, but also, what's it called? Pocket, like, stealing is basically what they're saying, okay? There's something around stealing. I don't know how that, like, what that attaches to or anything. In the first 2 readings, it took us a little while to get to the actual secret, but it's rooted in thievery. It's rooted in some type of deceit and some type of energy that is around like financial deceit. Okay, so this could be something as simple as someone taking money from someone else and then building an empire. I do think that this is absolutely affecting you and your finances today. And I'll tell you why. This feels like this is some type of shadow attribute that has been affecting your lineage from being able to attain the financial abundance that is actually yours, okay? And this obviously has nothing to do with you, right? Like, you're not the thief. You weren't the one that stole anything, and you didn't ask for this. I'm sure you didn't probably even want this to be in your family lineage. However, just as stated in the first 2 groups, every single one of us in our families have a shadow attribute, okay? They're shady people, scandalous people, liars, manipulators, deceitful, deceptive people in all of our families. Okay, none of us are exempt from that. And the reason why this reading is so significant is because, from my experience, in order for you to be able to push forward and move towards your future, towards the things that you desire in life, you have to absolutely go backwards. You know the saying, you have to go backwards in order to move forward. That's what this reading is to do, is to provide you with insight, to help you to recognize and understand why this thing was kept a secret and why it's still something that is suppressed in your lineage, so that you can recognize these behaviors and patterns if you have them within yourself, or even if you don't have any of them, you'll recognize them in other family members. Okay, there's something about this energy being like a restrictor for your family. They're showing me like a python, and a python snake is a restrictor. But the interesting thing about them showing this is they're showing like this pile of like coins, pentacles, like a tower of pentacles, but it's being strangulated by this secret. Okay, so it's almost as if you guys can't actually attain and reach what you desire or what's rightfully yours, which is this Ten of Pentacles energy, because of some type of instability in the way that your finances have been handled in the past. Some type of deceptive, or again, deceitful is the word that I'm picking up on for you guys. It's a deceitful energy around money. Okay, it does come with a layer of shame, though. I'll tell you that. The Five of Pentacles typically would be the card of like shame, right? Typically you wouldn't see like the Six of Pentacles as being a card of wearing shame, but in your reading, that's how this is showing up, is that in your lineage there was an individual or individuals who have been carrying the weight of this secret in it, and it's worn as if it's like a badge of shame. But obviously a badge is something that you should be grateful for. And this is not a badge that you guys have been grateful for, or others in your family. So before I started your reading, I was just kind of channeling, and I was hearing and seeing something in regards to like someone maybe operating in like a religious group as a leader. Okay, so this is like the storyline that they were given. I don't know if this is your exact storyline, but I do think that you will be able to pick up on what I'm saying, the way that they're sharing it. So it's like you had a pastor in your family. Maybe this is the person in your family. This person is a pastor. They oversee a church, and they use their gifts to manipulate people into like paying them. And that's what life became. But it was deceitful, because it's like I can use these gifts to get what I want for my personal gain, rather than using my spiritual gifts for the benefit and support of others, right? It's more of like a self-serving, self-seeking type of an energy, rather than an energy of someone who actually wants to serve humanity. Okay, and that's coming through as like this devil energy with this Six of Pentacles, is like I'm giving, but I want something in return. And like now they're screaming at me that yes, it's the abuse of spiritual gifts. So in your family lineage, people have misused their spiritual gifts for selfish gain. Okay, and that's where the like what were they saying earlier? Something in regards to like stealing and thievery comes into play. Like using your spiritual gifts for financial gain is thievery. That's stealing, because, and please don't misinterpret this. Nobody's saying that people who have spiritual gifts should not be paid. This is a secret that someone misused their spiritual gifts for the purpose of money through manipulation, through their shadow self, right? It's not a positive thing where people who have spiritual gifts should be paid. Absolutely, people who have spiritual gifts should be paid. I absolutely agree with that. However, there's a way to go about it. I'm not like me, for example. I could use my gifts and I could do tarot readings and I could tell people all kinds of stuff that's going to benefit them. But that doesn't actually return that back to me. That returns that same energy back to me. And I'm not laughing. I'm saying that this is the secret that has been the deceit within your bloodline, to where people have manipulated that into, well, I have these gifts. Now they're showing me something about prophecy. Like, I have the gift of prophecy. I can prophesy something, but you're going to pay me for this prophecy, and I'm going to scratch your itching ears. You know what they're showing me is like, because they're telling me these Bible scriptures, so this must be connected to the church in some way. And they're like, actually, like in my left ear, it's like there's pain there. So there's something about maybe someone who did this had some type of ear issues. That's the first thing that's coming through, because I do channel through my physical body as well. So someone could have had hearing aids or hearing issues. They could have blocked off their true gifts because they were so focused on financial gain that they tuned off the real gifts. Oh, they're also showing me that someone in your family could have attached to some of the shadow or darker entities in order to gain financial prosperity. Wow. All right, I wasn't expecting that, but that's probably why this devil, and I know you guys saw that, that's probably why the devil needed to come out. I'm doing the very best that I can. You know what this is showing up as for your reading is that this person maybe use that as an excuse, that I'm giving people what they want, and this is the very best that I can do. Like, they asked for it, so I'm giving it to them, right? It's like, instead of it being, I'm going to do better because I know better, it's more so like, I'm doing the best that I can. And this is what people want. You know, like, that's how this feels, guys. Like, they keep showing me, like, this is somebody I'm giving you something, but it's really for my own gain. And it has to do with some type of spiritual gifts, something like that. Okay, so we have hunting here. Okay? And see, this is exactly how they're showing the energy, is someone who's going out, seeking out people that they can devour. Like, that's what they're telling me, is that scripture, that Bible scripture that talks about, you know, the enemy roars around like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. And the gambler is here too. And this is someone who was willing to take a risk, but taking a risk with an understanding that it was cheating. You see this card cheat? Like, this is someone who's purposely, intentionally doing things to others for their own gain. This person could have also had a literal like issue with gambling, and that could have been why they were, you know, going out trying to gain financial stability by any means possible, and to the point of the detriment of others. Okay, this does bring up another thing, though, that is coming through, and this is some type of addiction that this person may have had to feed, especially with the devil here. Someone in your family could have had a secret addiction, and that could have been why, or the reason behind them using their gifts in a negative manner. I also want to bring something up that keeps coming through for you, is that they're saying that you may also have these spiritual gifts, but to caution you to not fall in this same trap. And your message is very like distinct, that they're saying they want to give you this information in advance because this 10 of Pentacles is your birthright. However, if it's misused or abused, or you know, used for selfish gain or addictive patterns, behaviors, things like that, that you will lose it. And I think that's what's happened here. I think that you had someone in your family who had spiritual gifts. I think they used them for their own personal gain to feed an addiction. And that's where they were saying that they were operating from their shadow self, is that they were using their gifts, their spiritual gifts, so that they could gain finances in order to feed their addiction. And it was at the expense and the cost of other people. You know, it's interesting too, because the police station is here too, which shows me that this was some type of like criminal activity. Something in this was like criminal in nature, right? like something about this addiction was criminal in nature. And like going back to what they were showing me too, is that Six of Pentacles, they're showing it as the Five of Pentacles. So it could have been that they were so absorbed in this addiction that they almost like that it led to like the downfall of this person, but also it was like the detriment of this person, but also something in regards to them like no longer feeling adequate, or like because they valued themselves based on how much money they had, and when they lost the money, it was as if their value went out the window with the money, something like that, guys. Let's keep going. It takes us a little bit to like get to the actual root of these readings, but I think I mentioned to you a moment ago, we're going to get there. So then we have the companion here, which you see light and shadow attributes, exactly what I'm saying. We all have these in our family, in ourselves. I have a ton of shadow and a ton of light, as do you and the rest of us, right? So light attributes are loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. The shadow attributes are betrayal by misusing confidences and loss of personal identity. Yeah, see, I think that this person identified themselves through their financial gain, but you'll notice that this is about betrayal by misusing confidences. And I think that's where that hunting comes into play, is that people believed in this person. I think you have even heard stories of how spectacular this person is. Like, oh my God, my grandfather was a pastor and he was phenomenal and he did all these amazing things in the community. And then you like are also hearing things about like, oh, your grandfather was scandalous. Like, did you know that he was on, drugs? Or did you know that he was a habitual gambler? Did you know that he lost all the family finances? It's like, I think you've been hearing light and dark, shadow and light attributes about this individual, and just probably have been trying to wrap your head around it for years. And then you come to this dang stupid tarot reading, and then here you go. Spirit is like, all right, let me give you the truth. Your ancestors are giving you this truth, though, because they recognize that you're the one to transition and shift out of this. They also are adamant, and they keep showing me this too. They're adamant on the fact that they want you, the Four of Wands with the Ten of Pentacles, they want you to celebrate and bask in the financial gains that are meant to be yours without operating from the shadow self to where you could potentially risk losing them. Okay, so it's like they're wanting you to be able to gain everything that was lost in the hands of this or these individuals in your bloodline. Okay, so I think that's amazing. It's like you're the one that's going to receive the gifts that they received and manipulated or used in a very deceitful fashion. You're going to receive them, and you're going to actually thrive in them and celebrate and live a victorious life because of the deceit that was done prior to you. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's literally alchemy to me. It's like they're showing me you taking this information and saying, oh my God, I see exactly how this fits into my bloodline. I'm about to shift out of this. And then you just transition out of this into this powerful magician energy of healing and resolving and, moving forward, like being able to create savings. They're showing me like Roth IRAs. They're showing me 401ks. They're showing me Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Like, I'm seeing all these avenues that are being offered to you as ways to produce finances to where you have multiple streams of income, and you're actually able to celebrate and enjoy these things with your family rather than, going down a path of destruction. Like, I didn't even see this in the other two piles. Pile number 3. This is phenomenal, like amazing. Okay, so the Fool here, fearlessly revealing emotion and helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. And then the shadow attributes are using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth. Okay, so this is just going back to what we were talking about. Like, this person, their charisma is coming through, and their ability to really be able to manipulate people into attaining what it is that they desire, like using their gifts in the wrong way. And I do think that you pile number 3 have spiritual gifts. I would go as far as to say that it feels to me like you have the same spiritual gifts that this person had. I think that the spiritual gifts have been given to you for restoration. And while this card at the bottom of the deck is absolutely confirming this, this is Archangel Raguel, and this is about justice, discipline, and harmony. This is a rebalancing of the scales. For you, your reading, I'm going to be honest with you, feels like a karmic clearing. Like your ancestors are giving you this family secret in order for you to understand it so that you can be the one to release it and rebalance the scales, like to bring justice back into your family due to this. It feels like one individual, but I think other people probably saw this and just didn't speak to it because they were benefiting from it. That's how it feels. But it feels like one man had a plan. He actually operated in that plan. He was successful until it was his detriment. And I think everybody else, like I said, just kind of went along with it. It also feels like the energy of people around couldn't really say much because other people would have been impacted if they found out that this person was operating in this space, right? Like for the example they provided, if this person was a pastor overseeing a church, the entire congregation would go downhill, maybe even turn their backs on God because of this one person's deceitfulness. So it was like it needed to be kept under wraps and secret so that other people's lives wouldn't be detrimentally, I don't even know if that's a word, affected by this person and their, I'm going to just say it feels like a selfish energy, but it's selfishness by means of an addiction. Okay, I do think this person had some type of addiction. It could have been gambling, it could have been schmeck, it could have been crime, who knows, it's something, but there was some type of wounds that this person carried, which led them. It could also have been some additional family wounds is what's being shown to me. Like maybe there was some challenges around feeling supported and nurtured within the family. Maybe this person's parents or other family members were addicted to things and that kind of led to it. Okay, but there's beautiful energy here. I'm going to leave Archangel Zadkiel till later because this is powerful as heck. So this abandonment wound, feelings of unworthiness and rejection are the areas in your life that you'll notice that this comes up and is possibly affecting you either now or has in the past. Okay, your wounds around abandonment, your wounds around worthiness when it comes to finances is what's coming through very clear and direct. Okay, you may feel unworthy when it comes to receiving finances, and that's because there was deception in your bloodline and that kind of bled into you. So basically imagine that this was a gentleman or a female who was a pastor overseeing a church, and that was like your great-great-grandmother, great-great-grandfather. Now your parents, their parents, they all have these unworthiness wounds because of the detriment that was caused by this individual based on this individual's actions. And no one until you has been able to stand up and say, yeah, I feel abandoned because I feel unworthy of having financial abundance, prosperity, and celebrating it. But also maybe something along the lines of not feeling worthy of celebrating it because you see other family members don't have it. And your ancestors want to make it clear to you that just because you have and they don't, it's not your fault. That they have the same capabilities as you to find the pathway to freedom. That your abundance and prosperity is being gifted to you because of your ability to utilize the gifts and the resources that have been offered to you in a very compassionate way, in a very freeing way. And I'm seeing an energy of pureness that operates through you. It's like your energy is pure. You're not malicious, trying to get over on people. You're not misusing your gifts for gain. You're not, being charming in order to receive something. You're not operating in those spaces, and that's why these things are being given to you. They're also telling me that, the first shall be the last. They're speaking to the fact that you have had to suffer and sit in the Five of Pentacles energy for a long period of time in order for you to finally be getting to the space to where you're actually entering into that Ten of Pentacles energy. They're showing the endurance that you've had to have in order to position yourself to be able to get to this Ten of Pentacles energy. And so they're wanting to highlight and call out the fact that you have been doing an amazing job. And so these gifts are being given to you. These rewards, these celebratory experiences are being offered to you because you're the one who's willing to put in the work and to heal these things once and for all. And there's a masculine ancestor coming through. So this may be this individual that they're telling the story about, but they're saying that you are never going to have to worry about finances again. But not only that this abandonment wound is being softened the more and more you actually open yourself up to experience and reveal these things that have been hidden. They're saying that when you bring things to the light, you're actually resolving them. So they're given the analogy of like pulling up the roots in the plant. You know, when you pull up the roots in the plant, you're actually able to see the health and the state of the plant in its authenticity. And they're saying that that's what you've been doing. Pulling up the roots to these wounds, which is why you're watching this healing. And that's also why this harvest is yours, pile number 3. I mean, golly, if I had to pick a pile, I want to pick this pile. This is amazing. Oh my gosh. So the card that came out for you is Deja Vu. This is about repeating patterns, familiar lessons, unresolved issues, and we've been here before. And so for someone here, I do think that this reading is very familiar to you, and I think that that's why that Deja Vu is coming up. I think it feels familiar to you, and I think it's based on the fact that you have had to have some of these similar experiences where you may have struggled with how to use your gifts. You may have struggled with whether or not you should overcharge people or whether or not you should charge, based on what is appropriate. You may have had some challenges with wanting to seek opportunities to just gain money and like, oh my God, I have these gifts. How can I get money from it? I think you've had some of those experiences, but the core of you, based on this Archangel Zadkiel energy here, is showing that your intentions have been pure, but you may notice that you get pulled in the direction of, oh my God, I need to get more money, so how can I get there? And so I think that this is the familiarity. This is the deja vu in the reading, is that like, wow, I've actually experienced some of this, and now I recognize where it's coming from. It's coming from this ancestor who may have had a little bit of greed for selfish gain, and this assists and supports you in being able to bring this into alignment. In addition, Archangel Zadkiel is the archangel that assists and supports you through healing, but also through aligning you to your destiny. So in resolving and being attentive and mindful of these energies, these shadow energies that may be reflected in and through you sometimes due to your familial secrets and lineage, you're going to be aware of the fact that those don't allow you the freedom and the peace that you actually seek in life, as well as the abundance, and that in operating from those spaces that you rob yourself of the ability to actually gain. There's a message coming through for you in regards to, wow, your team has a lot to say. Let me just tell you. Let me catch my breath. They are stating that your prosperity is in your release of unhealthy attachments to finances. For someone, I'm hearing, I hate money, right? Like, I hate money. I just don't like it. I don't understand why I don't have enough of it all the time. Like, but they're saying that that's unhealthy because you're seeing it through the lens of this pain, of this shadow self, due to the abandonment wounds of feeling unworthy. There's something about shifting your perspective, and I'm not gonna lie, guys, I don't even know if I really can grasp all that they're giving, but I'm confident that you're gonna know because you have spiritual gifts, so I'm sure that you can see and feel and hear all the stuff that I'm hearing, feeling, and seeing. But on top of that, they're speaking to the fact that you receive through your ability to pour out. That money is energy. They're stressing that importance of recognizing that money is energy. As you're willing to pour out and to give yourself to others, you will recognize that that financial increase will come to you naturally without doing anything. There's something about you already putting in the work. Like, they're saying you've been putting in the work. You're not lazy. Like, they're showing me the other side of the Capricorn energy, which is someone who is like a superb employee, someone who is going to do all the work, very excellent, right? The one who wants to stay overtime and will stay all night just so that they can get their work done because they want to make more money. They're saying that you're willing to do the work. You've been doing the work. Now it's time to open you up to receive. And if you recognize these unhealthy behaviors and patterns, even the ability to become addicted to money is coming through for you, pile number 3. They're saying when you recognize that those patterns or those tendencies may arise due to this family secret, then you will be able to recognize how to align yourself to the opposite energy, which would be freedom and releasing the unhealthy attachments to money in order for you to gain and pull in more. Wow. That was a lot. I hope you got that. I hope you got that. Let's just get 3 more tarot cards. The 3 of Swords. Wow. Wow. This unworthiness is attached to some type of heartache. Even in this person, oops, I'm sorry, I'm hitting the mic. Even in this person in your family entered into this due to heartbreak. It's almost like they had some type of severe heartbreak happen to them. I don't know if it's romantic or if it had to do with like a death in the family, a loss of a mother, something like that. So it's something devastating that happened to them. And from that point on, they felt like they needed to provide for themselves. And it was like by any means necessary. And then there was like a recognition that this person had of, oh, I could just use other people to get what I want. And that's how it came about. Okay, something like that. But it was something devastating that happened. Maybe something with the 8 of Wands here that happened quickly to them and like shifted their entire being right away. Now, I will tell you that these cards are twofold, and I'm going to tell you what your team is telling you as well once I get done giving you the basic foundation. Okay, so then the 3 of Wands is here. I love this. I love this. With the Chariot, guys. You pile number 3, let me just tell you guys, you have no idea how impactful this has been on your experiences, because the 8 of Wands represents forward movement. It represents progression. You'll notice though in this 8 of Wands there's a standstill. There's a standstill, and there's a standstill because the root of this is this 3 of Swords energy, which is the unworthiness, the abandonment wound, the feelings of inadequacy, of there's never enough, or that there's not enough, or that I have to fight to get what I need in life, that things don't just happen to me because nothing has happened to me great in the past. So why would that shift and start happening for me now? This is the root of this family secret, is this heartbreak that has led to the shadow seeking ways to gain and earn financial stability, okay? And you can take that and make that into anything. It doesn't have to fit into this storyline. They're just giving these as examples. But for you, what the cards are representing is that it's time to move forward. You have 2 cards about movement as well as the 3 of Wands. The 3 of Wands, typically would be depicted as like waiting for your ships to come in. For me, this 3 of Wands is showing up for you to say that you've been praying and asking for something to shift, but not knowing what the issue was. This is the issue, pile number 3, is that your inability to have the financial gain that you seek is rooted in your pain that has been caused by these experiences of the past, and some even familial. This familial secret is a big root. It's the bottom of the plant that you've just uprooted. Okay, so those roots at the very bottom that may be highly soiled or even root rotted or really soaked and saturated. They're saturated with pain. So your team is inviting you, your ancestors are inviting you to clip those off. Just cut them, get rid of them, get rid of the ties that attach you to the feelings of unworthiness, of abandonment, the feelings and the idea that you are only what your gifts are, and that's how you are to make money and live your life, and that's the only way to get to abundance. Your team is saying you have so many opportunities within you. There's so much within you, which is why this 3 of Wands is here. There's more opportunities and gifts within you than you realize, and you don't have to find them through the path of pain. They can be found through the path of prayer, expectation, hope. You know, like those are your avenues and the pathway to your success. I hope this makes sense. The Chariot here is saying that once you decide that you're going to move away from the pain and progress towards a different path with the Three of Wands, is like looking out in the world and saying, oh my God, what is available and accessible to me? And recognizing that way more is accessible than the limitations you've been placing on yourself, because you understand those limitations have been placed based on this wound. And this wound is embedded in and due to the fact that this secret has been kept in your family for so long. There's celebration, there's financial abundance, there is prosperity, there is healing, there is freedom, there is hope, and there's fulfillment for you, pile number 3, in moving forward and away from this past pain. This is, my God, powerful. And another thing to add on to that is that this is going to happen swiftly for you. As soon as you decide and you choose to move beyond these repeating patterns and step away from misusing and instead allowing your gifts to be, you know, they're telling me the scripture that your gifts will make room for you. That means you don't have to make room for them. They'll make room for themselves. They'll find their way in your life when the time is right. They will come out when they need to. And I've had to learn this too, the very hard way, very, very hard way. But they will, I promise, your gifts will make room for you, because there's nothing that has been given to you to sit and lay dormant. It just has to wait for divine timing. And for you, you're being offered and invited to choose now the path that you want moving forward, and know that the path to healing is the path to prosperity and financial gain. Wow. My God. Wow. Wow. Pile number 3. This is amazing. Oh my God. Please drop a comment and let me know if this resonated with you, because this was a crazy reading, but phenomenal reading. Oh my God. Like powerful as heck. I can't get over that. I'll keep talking. Please feel free to drop a comment, like the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and I'll see you next time. Bye.